All right, welcome back, everybody. This is live from the market, 11:05 Central Time. Tonix Pharmaceuticals is trending down 20%. Now, I made a video yesterday. I titled it "A Warning." It's my last video, a warning for TNXP investors. And what did I tell you in that video? Well, I was walking through the park Sunday evening, beautiful evening last night, and I just wanted to emphasize the fact that you need to be prepared for volatility. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, if you also remember, I mentioned that they might try to short it down when the market opens. And if you look at what the pre-market was, in fact, if you look at this morning, this came out, the biggest winners and losers, August 18th, Eastern Standard Time, around 6 a.m. Central, Eastern Standard Time, 7:13. So now it's 11:06 Central and 12:06 Eastern right now. So this is several hours later. But this morning, it was up 13% in the pre-market at $58 per share. So that just shows you the volatility. Where are we at right now again? Well, let's find out. Now let's refresh this actually, because this is changing quite rapidly. And the volume is more than 5 times the average today. Now keep in mind that Tonix Pharmaceuticals has a smaller share structure. It's like 55 million shares outstanding. But right now we've traded about 10%. Sorry, these people are texting me. 5 million shares today. So far, the average volume is 1 million shares. So we are seeing an increase in shares. I'm actually kind of surprised that the volume we're seeing is not higher. I would think that the volume would be higher based upon this news. But I also think that if we're looking at the approval from the FDA's perspective, this was kind of anticipated. So people were kind of bidding Tonix up beforehand. We've seen that the news that came out, like people were expecting this, right? If it did not get approved, that would have been an absolute disaster. The stock would have gone, I don't know, but to zero right away, but it would have gone down a lot. And so that's a huge thing, right? So we got the approval, but it was trending up at the pre-market. And then what did I mention? Once the market opens, they might try to short it down. Once the market participants come in, that's what happens. The short-term volatility, all the day traders, everybody's coming into the market at 8:30 in the morning. And now we're down big. But the thing is, with a share structure of you have, and I'm sorry, did I say 50 million shares outstanding? I don't know what I said. It says 7 million shares as of May 12th, 7.3 million shares. But if we look at like $40 a share, what kind of market cap is that with 7 million shares outstanding? That's roughly a $300 million market cap. So at a floor of $40 per share, which is really what we've been holding on to. If you think about it, guys, think about the fact that before the news even came out, if you look back at the last 6 months, we're still up 272% from $10 a share after the split happened, the 1-for-100 reverse split, because this used to be a penny stock, and then they did a split to maintain the listing. So we're still up over 200%. I mean, I would say that's better than the S&P 500. But if you look at an alternative chart like the last 5 years, it looks like a complete disaster. And that's because of all the splits they've done. So the hope is now that real value is being created in the stock. There's no need for additional splits. They're going to be able to raise money. There's actual value in the stock because there's actual legitimate demand for their products and services. And what are those products and services? Well, this is just what I typed in, TNXP stock news. It actually gave me a pretty good AI overview. I do have to give Google credit for this one. I'm not a huge fan of using their AI all the time, but sometimes I will read over this. And so Tonix Pharmaceuticals, Tonmya, the tablets were approved by the FDA on August 15th, 2025 for the treatment of fibromyalgia in adults. The first new FDA-approved therapy for fibromyalgia in over 15 years. Commercial availability is anticipated in the fourth quarter of 2025. Positive clinical trial data. The FDA approval was based on data from 2 phase 3 trials, Relief and Resilience, involving nearly 1,000 patients. These trials showed that Tonmya significantly reduced daily pain compared to placebo and was well tolerated. The full results from the Resilient trial were published in Pain Medicine in July 2025. Q2 2025 financial results. Tonix reported its second quarter 2025 financial results on August 11th, 2025. Of course, they're going to miss on earnings per share estimates right now. They're still well into the development phase, but they're starting to go to the sales, marketing, and distribution phase. So that's where the real money is going to come in. But they do have a solid cash runway. They did mention that earlier in the year. We talked about that as well. But $125 million in cash or in cash equivalents expected to fund operations into Q3 2026. So they have a solid cash runway. Don't forget the fact that Tonix has additionally been added to the Russell 3000 indexes and Russell 2000 indexes. This is going to be big for liquidity in the market. Okay, so when we're looking at ETFs being added to different funds, this is just the beginning. This was in June. It's only August. Give it some time. You're going to see liquidity for Tonix increase because it's going to be added to various ETFs, and there's going to be more buyers and sellers ultimately for the stock. We talked about the Move Fibro Forward campaign in July of 2025 to raise fibromyalgia awareness. New data. They also have the Mpox and smallpox vaccine candidate TNX-801 was presented at the Vaccine Congress 2025. And then we have, it looks like another, $34 million over 5 years with the U.S., what is that, Department of something. But Tnx-102 SL for acute stress reaction, ASR to acute stress disorder in May of 2025. So the first patient was dosed in this phase 2 OASIS trial. Top line results are expected in the second half of 2026. So a lot of positive things happening here, guys. A lot of positive news. This was just from typing in, that's a pretty good overview, I have to say. But like I said, we were up in the pre-market. Now we're down. Like I said yesterday, expect a lot of volatility. It's about lunchtime right now. Where are we at? We're down 20%. Live price, 12:11 Eastern time. We are down 20%. So welcome to volatility. Welcome to crazy things happening. With only 7 million shares outstanding, this is considered a low floater, I would say. I mean, you could argue under like 2 million shares would really be considered a low float, but only 7 million shares to go around and exchange hands. So we are trading, most of the float today, I guess you could say. 5 million shares is what we traded so far. So we're 5 times the normal volume. Don't be surprised if this $40 per share becomes $60 or $80 per share in the next couple of days. Like I said, just hold on for the ride if you're thinking about this long term. If you were going into this with a trading mentality, as it, you can anticipate a lot of times, things don't often go as planned in the stock market. In fact, most of the time, I would say, if not maybe all the time, things don't go exactly as planned in the stock market, right? So this is just an example of what you can expect. And I would say a year from now, we might look at this. Somebody mentioned hold until January 2026. And I think that's interesting because, if you think about where this could be, that's not even a year from now. It's 5 months from now. But if you even think about June 2026, where this could be, or December 2026, if you're really in this for an investment, we only have a market cap of $375 million right now at the current price. You're getting a bargain if you think about it. If you believe that more than $375 million will be created of value from this company over the next couple of years, why not take the risk, right? If it's a small part of your portfolio, what if you do get a 10x in the stock and it goes to 3 or 4 billion? We've seen crazier things happen in the market. I've seen crazier things. That's why we play the game. And by diversifying your risk, you can take opportunities like Tonix. You can put 5% of your portfolio, maybe even 10 or 15 if you really want to take a bigger risk, and try to get those larger returns. Because when you get those larger returns, they can make a huge difference, especially if your long-term goal is retirement. And if you're younger, if you're 20, 30, even 35, you can still afford to take some risk, 40, take some risk, put a part of your portfolio. I'm not your financial advisor, but maybe it's 10, 15, 20% and put it into stocks like Tonix that have 10x potential. Maybe not right away. Maybe they don't go parabolic like we saw last in 2024, where it did quickly 10x and then sold off. But, maybe it doesn't happen that quickly again. But perhaps if you're patient, patience is the name of the game, right? I think Warren Buffett said the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient, right? It's true. And so think about it that way also, guys. And with that being said, remember to always do your own research. I'm not your financial advisor. Make sure you are understanding the risk you're taking in the market, your own investing goals and objectives. But with that being said, year to date, the charts don't look bad. Last year, okay. But the last 6-month chart, that looks pretty solid, I have to say. If we can keep the momentum up, if it holds this floor of, let's say, $40 a share, and we bounce off that and head to 60 or $80, the last high we saw here was 60 roughly on August 13th, probably a little bit higher intraday, maybe like 65 intraday. I forget the exact price on that. But if we hit 60 or $80, that trend line could continue. It has been a positive trend over the last 6 months. So let's see how it unfolds, guys. And once again, this is live while the market's open. Right now, the price is down 21% around lunchtime. right after this news came out on Friday. So here we are, guys. Tonix Pharmaceuticals. Let me know what you're doing. Are you buying, selling, holding? What do you guys think? I've seen some of you guys even say the stock is toast. What do you guys think? Are we going to break through 40 and go down to 20? I mean, is this it? Even after all these positive developments, what's going to happen, guys? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Take care out there.